I think it's super important to just put it in the table at the beginning of the presentation, which is financing versus funding. So financing is the upfront cost, what you're going to spend in the construction of the project, and it can come from either public or private sources. So this means that it can be the government, the state through the taxes that it has collected, who is going to finance a project. But private sources are also a source of financing, which would basically be a private firm getting a loan in, a bank or a development bank, or they could issue bonds. So there are different instruments, as we can see in the presentation. You have public budget, bond markets, loans, stock issues, different ways of financing a project, both public and private. But then the funding, which is what is required for this project during its life, and which is used to repay both the capital, which is the investment, and the operation and maintenance, which sometimes is as important as the investment amount, can only come from some limited sources. So it's either through tariffs or through, once again, the government, right? Taxes. There are no other sources. So right now we can discuss how to close the gap and the infrastructure gap, so, and we could have the public sector or the private sector closing that gap in terms of putting the money to the investment, but then we have to repay it. So if the private sector is an option to close the gap right now and they can put in the money, then they will need it back. So who's going to pay for it? It can be the tariff, it could be the government, it could be also a combination of both of them, which is probably what we will end up discussing later. But it's important to know this because sometimes, especially since this is a very political sector, people only think about inaugurating, the new plant, the new treatment plant, and there's going to be a mayor and the president and the minister over there. But then you need to operate this for the rest of the life of a city, and somebody has to pay for this.